Fine, good afternoon to you all students. Hi students, how are you? I hope you all are fine and you all are doing well. I hope by God's grace you all are safe. A warm greetings to you all students. Welcome to our today's online class. So now we are studying about which chapter students? Chapter 3, Computer Organization. So last class just I have started this chapter. So before I am going to take about the today's class, just we can recall what are the things I have taught at the last class. Okay. So just recall students what are things you have studied. So what do you mean by computer organization? So what's the use of computer organization? Then important one thing, microprocessor you have studied. Isn't it? Isn't it or not? Yes, isn't it? Okay. Then, so today we are going to study about one important 5 mark question. Very important 5 mark question. Okay. So please take your notebook and note it down. So what are the things I have displayed in the PowerPoint? Understood students? Okay. So characteristics. What do you mean by characteristics? So, if I asked you to say the characteristics of you means you will say about your character, isn't it? So, same way, so the microprocessor, so what do you mean by microprocessor? It's a small silicon chip, isn't it? So, last class I have shown one picture or real image of the microprocessor, isn't it? Okay, so what are the characteristics are there? So the microprocessor will have mainly 3 important characteristics. How many important characteristics are there totally? 3. Very important question. Again and again I am telling. First chapter expected question. Generations of computer, functional components, printers. Same way this chapter your expected question is characteristics of microprocessor. So please note it down. So what are the 3 characteristics? Clock speed, instruction set and word size. Once more you say what are the 3 characteristics? Clock speed, instruction set and word size. Okay, sometimes if they are asking for 2 mark or 3 mark question mean, so write the characteristics of microprocessor. Sometimes they will ask. Okay, if they are asking for 2 mark or 3 mark question means you need to write only these 3 points alone. No need to explain. So, but if they are asking for 5 mark question mean you need to explain each and everything in detail. Okay, understood? Okay. First thing is clock speed. So what's the use of clock? Normally I am asking what's the use of clock? To see time, isn't it? So same way clock speed. So you are going to calculate some speed. Okay, here you are studying which element or which device you are studying now? Microprocessor. So you are going to calculate some speed or time for the device. Okay, so listen. So the microprocessor, yesterday I have shown the picture. So just a silicon chip, isn't it? So each and every microprocessor has a internal clock-like structure. Understood? The same, what are the points I have given here? Same way as it is you need to write for your detailed question answer for your exam also. Understood student? So listen carefully. So each and every microprocessor will have what? Some internal clock-like structure. Okay, so what's the use of this clock? So this clock will always regulates the speed or it will control the speed of the something. Okay, so all the things already have studied computer, you are giving some instructions as a input. So that instructions are going to processing by the CPU, then stored in memory. So all the things you are giving us a what? Instructions. Okay, so this clock speed will calculate. For example, you are giving first instruction. So what do you mean by instruction? Just a command. For example, you are playing in the ground. A PT sir will say, hey, come here, stand straight, turn left, then turn right, rotate. This and all we can say as a commands. Same way, what are things you are giving as a command, that only we are saying as what? Instructions. For example, type this, do this, that and that. So, all the commands are executed as a instructions. First, it will execute first instructions or first command. Second, it will execute second instructions or second command. Okay, so each and every microprocessor will have some internal clock. So this clock will regulate at what speed the instructions are executing. Understood what's the use of an clock? At what speed each and every instructions are executed. Okay, so that the second point, note it down, very very important, one more question. So at the what speed the microprocessor will execute a instruction is called what? Clock speed. Understood? Very very important point, second point. So at the what speed? So lot of instructions, lot of commands you are giving. So each time it will execute a one instructions. Okay. So each time it will execute one instruction. For example, first it will execute first instruction. The second it will execute second instruction. Okay. So clock speed means, so at what time the microprocessor will execute the particular instruction. Okay. That time is called which speed? Clock speed. Or at what speed the microprocessor will execute a particular instruction, that is called what? Clock speed. Understood? That is important, one more question also. So this clock speed is measured in a unit called megahertz or gigahertz. Understood? So this clock speed is measured in which one? What's the unit? Megahertz or gigahertz. So once more I am repeating, very very important questions. So only I am explaining each point by point. So what's the first point? Please now itself study. Each and every microprocessor will have one internal clock. So what's the use of that one? It will regulate and also it will regulate the speed of what instructions you are executing. So it will calculate the speed of the instruction, at what speed particular instruction is executed by the microprocessor. So that speed we can call as which speed? Clock speed. Okay, so that clock speed is measured in which unit? Megahertz or gigahertz. Understood? Understood? Okay, first topic over. So what's the second thing? Second heading is instruction set. So first itself I said, what do you mean by instruction? Just like a command. For that only in best example I said, you are playing games in a ground. So PT sir is controlling all the students. A PT sir calling the particular student and say, so stand here. So and also you are running. So sir will say, go straight, run fast. So this and all we can say as a command. Same way, so here, so what's the use of command means? You are giving some instruction to the computer to do this operation. Okay, for example, add two numbers. You are giving a command as add. Subtract two numbers. You are giving a command as subtract. So this and all we can call as a command. Okay. So command is given to whom? Computer, to perform a particular thing or particular operation. That is called what? Instruction. This also important, one more question as well as two more question. So listen, last clock speed you have studied, no? So that also separately they will ask for, sometimes they will ask for three more question also. Define clock speed. So likewise here, first point, sometimes they will ask for 1 mark, sometimes they will ask for 2 mark also, instruction. So define instruction means what you will write? A command which is given to a computer to perform an operation on a data is called what? Instruction. Okay, so we are talking which language? Our mother tongue is Tamil, isn't it? So likewise, so the computer will execute one separate language, that is called machine level language. So machine level language is nothing but machine level understandable. So the machine can, so now you are talking in English, whether the computer will understand your language? No. So that you need to translate, so which kind of language the computer will understand. So that kind of language is called what? Machine level language. Okay. So you are giving each and everything as a what? Instructions. So some basic set of a machine level instructions you are giving to whom? Microprocessor. Okay, so here this is another one important 2 mark question. Define instruction set. So what do you mean by instruction set? Means listen, some set of machine level instructions. Okay, so always the computer will execute which kind of instructions? Machine level. So a some set of machine level instructions you are giving to whom? Microprocessor. So that microprocessor will execute that instruction. So that is called what? Instruction set. Understood? So what is instruction set? A basic subset of machine level instructions you are giving to whom? Microprocessor. So that microprocessor is designed to execute that instruction. A set of, that is important. Not a one. So already have studied clock speed. It will execute one by one instruction, then second instruction. One by one it will execute, isn't it? But here a set of machine level instructions are executed by whom? Microprocessor. So that set of instructions is called what? Instruction set. Understood? Okay. So this instruction set carries what are the operations? Okay, what are the operations is going to carried out by whom? This instruction set. Listen. So what are the operation means? This is important question. Sometimes they will ask. List some instruction set carries out the following operations. Or what are the operations are carried out by instruction set? So this is an unexpected question. So what are the operations? Data transfer, arithmetic operations, logical operations, control flow, input and output. Okay. So what are the operations are carried out by this instruction set? Data transfer, arithmetic operation, logical operation, control flow, input and output. Understood the second heading instruction set? Okay. So here what are the expected questions? 2 mark question. Define instruction is a 2 mark question. Then define instruction set. They can ask for a 2 mark question. Then define. List the set of operations are carried out by instruction set. That's a 2 mark question. Okay. Then, so next one is word size. Third heading is what? Word size. So word its name itself having word size. So size of the word. So already have studied. So input always you are giving in the form of binary bits. So number of bits processed by a processor. Listen, all the things you are giving us a what? Instructions or a command, isn't it? Listen carefully. So for a single instruction or a single command, how many bits are used to processed by a processor? So for example, you are giving a single instruction, go straight or do well. One instruction you are giving do well. So that instruction contains how many number of bits? So that is processed by whom? Processor. That is called word size. Understood? For a command or one instruction or a one command, so how many number of bits are taken by process by the processor is called what? Words. So that is important. A single instruction. One instruction, number of bytes required for processing. That is called what? Word size. Understood? So and also this word size only determine amount of RAM can be accessed by microprocessor. For example, so your RAM capacity is 4 GB for example. So based on this word size only, it will determine how much amount of word size or data you need to be take from the RAM for executing the particular information. Understood word size? Okay. So what are things you have studied in word size? Sorry, what are the things you have studied in these characteristics of microprocessor? 3 things. What are they? Clock speed. Then, so what are things you have studied? Clock speed you have studied, then instruction set you have studied, then word size. 3 important headings. So very important questions. Again and I am telling expected question. So don't waste time students. So all the 3 headings you need to be noted down in your notebook, can study. Okay. So next one is data communication between CPU and memory. Okay, so some communication is going on between whom and whom? Between the CPU and the memory. Okay, so you are going to transfer some data between in which and which? CPU and memory. What do you mean by CPU? Central Processing Unit. So listen, so this CPU will have 2 kinds of registers. And so the CPU will have how many types of registers? 2 types. What are they means? Memory data register and memory address register. Understood? So the CPU will have how many types of register? 2 types. What are they? Memory data register and memory address register. Okay. So what's the that is MDR. DR means data register. AR means address. Okay. So the MDR, that is memory data register, is always keeps the information about data. What are the data you are going to transform between the CPU and the memory? Understood? Memory data. Name itself having memory data. So it will contain information about what? Always it will contain information about the data transfer between memory and the CPU. Okay. The name itself having memory data register. So data is going to transfer between what? Memory and the CPU. So it will, this data, for example, first you are transferring one information. So it will have the record. So first you are transferring this information from this MDR to CPU. Sorry, memory to CPU. So first, likewise second. So it will keep all the details. What are the data you are going to transfer between the memory and the CPU. Understood what's the use of MDR? Okay. The next one is PC. Very, very important 2 mark question. So what I have given as a bold letters, no, somewhat bold. So that please note it down in your notebook. Define PC. Very, very, very important question. PC is nothing but program counter. Okay, so it is a special kind of register. So already you have studied inside the CPU 2 kinds of register. What are they? Memory data register and memory address register. So memory data register, what's the use? It will always keep the data information about data transfer between memory and the CPU. So next one is program counter. Very, very important 2 mark question. So it is a one kind of special register. Understood? Program counter is a kind of special register. So this this special register also keep inside by a CPU. So important point, listen. So this program counter will always keep the address of the next instruction to be executed. For example, so you are going to execute 10 instructions. So you are going to execute how many instructions? 10 instructions. So this register, first it will know how many instructions you are going to execute. 10. So first instruction have the memory address of second thing. For example, how you will say the roll number? 1. Then 1, if you say completed means the second number will say 2. So for example, third one is absent. So fourth one, the fourth student will say the attendance? 3 absent 4. So same way, so always it will keep the address of the next instruction. What's the next instruction you are going to execute? Understood? Program counter. Program counter is a special kind of register. What's the use? Always it will keep that is very, very important, address of the next instruction to be executed. Then, so inside that another one you have studied arithmetic and logic unit. So what's the use of arithmetic and logic unit? So perform arithmetic calculations, isn't it? So this arithmetic and logic unit, okay, this unit will have addresses of the memory. So one more register left. What is that one? MAR, memory address register. So this address MAR register always keep the address of the which memory you are going to be fetched. For example, you are doing some arithmetic and logical calculation. So from which memory you are going to be fetched? That address it will store. That is memory address MAR. Address it will store in memory address register. Understood? So what are things you have studied? So CPU have 2 types of register. What are they? MDR and MAR. So what's the use of MDR? MDR always will keep the data transfer between the memory and CPU. Then program counter always have the address of the next instruction to be executed. Then MAR have the memory of the from arithmetic and logic unit from which memory you are going to be fetched. Understood? So listen students, okay, after today's up to this enough. Tomorrow we can continue the remaining portion, students. So what are things you have studied? One important 5 mark question. What is that? Characteristics of microprocessor. What are they? Clock speed, instruction set, and next one is data. Then what you have studied? Data communication. There here you have studied what are the things? MDR, what do you mean by MDR, what do you mean by MAR, and what do you mean by PC program counter. Okay, so after completion of this student session, please note it down what are questions I said in the notebook and study very, very important questions. Remaining I'll take in next class. Thank you, students.